Hello friends, as CA Foundation exams are approaching just 4 days from now, we have prepared one strategy which would help you to solve your accounts paper properly and will you be able to score good marks in your accounts paper. So I am here with a strategy for you guys which will help you to make your preparations very strong, become very confident and write your accounts paper, which is the opening batsman of CA Foundation examinations. Let's start with the strategy which I have prepared. I've taken lots of efforts so that you get the benefits, and if you are benefited, I'm the most happiest person. Let's start. So first of all, I've done planning for June 2024 examination 4 days before the exam. 4 days before the exam means, guys, it will start from 16th of June. So time allocation while revising before the examination. 16 June your day starts, guys. 6:30 to 8:30 am accounting process you will start, which will focus on journal, ledger, subsidiary books, trial balance. 8:30 to 9 you will have a breakfast timings. 9 to 11 again you will go for cash book, petty cash book, capital and revenue expenditure. Next 11 to 1:30 p.m. you will go for BRS and rectification of errors. BRS and rectification of errors. 1:30 to 2 p.m. you will have a lunch break. 2 to 2:30 you will have a short nap. आपको नींद आती हो नहीं आती हो, थोड़ा सा ब्रेक लेना जरूरी है, मशीन ठंडा होना चाहिए. 2:30 to 4 depreciation you will revise depreciation full topic. मेन बेसिकली रिवीजन मीन्स आपको सारी थियरी सारी एंट्रीज रिवाइज करनी है. 4 to 6 p.m. you will go for inventory. Again 6 to 6:30 you will have a small break of 30 minutes. 6:30 to 8. Now पूरे दिन में जो आपने पढ़ाई की है डे 1 में उसका आरटीपी आपको सॉल्व करना है. यू हैव टू सॉल्व द आरटीपी ऑफ जर्नल, ledger, subsidiary books, trial balance, and that RTPs of which attempts? That is the current attempt June 2024, December 2023, June 2023, and December 2022. Again 8 to 9:30 p.m. you will go with the RTPs of cash book, petty cash book, capital and revenue expenditure, which will comprise of the same attempts, that is June 24, December 23, June 23, and December 2022. 9:30 to 10 p.m. let's have a dinner break, refresh ourselves. 10 to 12 the last session of the day. I know it is very hectic, but guys, we want 70 plus at least in our accounts paper. RTP of BRS, rectification of errors, depreciation, inventory, which will comprise of last 4 attempts, that is June 2024, December 2023, June 2023, December 2022. I hope guys you are very clear what is the strategy laid by me on day number 1. Same way we will go with June 17, same schedule, but the chapters will be bill of exchange, incomplete records. Guys, I have kept sufficient time, that is 4.5 hours, to revise a single entry. One thing I would like to suggest, go through the closing procedure very properly while doing single entry system. Again you will have a lunch break, short nap, then final accounts of manufacturer and sole proprietors, then the RTPs of the topics which you have studied during the day. Then 18 June comes, partnership accounts, that is introduction to partnership, treatment of goodwill, admission, retirement, death, dissolution, the entire partnership, guys, the entire partnership account on day number 3. So this was day number 2, this was day number 3. Piecemeal distribution of cash, the new topic which they have introduced in CA Foundation accounts. Then the RTPs of the topics which you have studied during the day. Then comes day number 4. Company accounts, the most important topic, which includes issue of shares, debentures, redemption of preference shares, redemption of debentures, bonus issue, right issue. See, all these are the new syllabus part. Next, NPO, again very important topic. Please focus on them. Then the RTPs of company accounts, RTPs of company accounts, RTP of company accounts. So why so much? But because boss, RTP of company accounts, by the word company accounts I mean issue of shares, issue of debentures, bonus issue, right issue, redemption of preferences, redemption of debentures, and the same pattern. Last 4 attempts you are supposed to consider: June 2024, December 2023, June 2023, and December 2022. Then the countdown begins, that is 20th June. On the 20th June, that is the day of examination, you have to go through MTP of company accounts, only the last 2 attempts, MTP of partnership accounts, only the last 2 attempts, and then comes the new thing which I will start discussing right now. So guys, now I have prepared last minute quick revision, each chapter wise what needs to be revised, क्या देख के जाना है, कौन से इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट्स है, कौन सी चीजें याद रखनी है, सब कुछ मैंने डिस्कस करके रखा हुआ यहाँ पे आपके लिए. चैप्टर नंबर 2 आई स्टार्ट विद अकाउंटिंग प्रोसेस. रिवाइज ऑल जर्नल एंट्रीज thoroughly इंक्लूडिंग जीएसटी गाइस. गो थ्रू ऑल 4 सब्सिडरी बुक्स एंड ट्रायल बैलेंस. सब्सिडरी बुक्स मतलब परचेज बुक, परचेज रिटर्न बुक, सेल्स रिटर्न बुक and the trial balance. Now points to remember in GST. Input GST should be used whenever purchase and payment transactions are given. जब भी परचेज एंड पेमेंट ट्रांजेक्शन आएंगे तो आप इनपुट जीएसटी बोलोगे. क्या बोलोगे? इनपुट जीएसटी, बिकॉज इनपुट जीएसटी मींस रिसीवेबल. आउटपुट जीएसटी शुड बी यूज्ड व्हेनेवर सेल्स एंड रिसीट ट्रांजेक्शंस आर गिवन. जब भी सेल्स और कलेक्शन या सेल्स और रिसीट ट्रांजेक्शन होंगे तो आउटपुट जीएसटी बोलोगे, मतलब जीएसटी पेएबल होगा. Try to draft entries as per the golden rules. Give debit effect and then give credit effect. In case of ledger, transfer the balances properly. What I am trying to say, opening debit balance comes on debit side and opening credit balance comes on credit side. भाई ओपनिंग डेबिट बैलेंस डेबिट साइड में आता है, ओपनिंग क्रेडिट बैलेंस क्रेडिट साइड में आता है. और क्या लिखते हैं हम लोग? इट इज इंडिकेटेड बाय द वर्ड बैलेंस ब्रॉट डाउन. बैलेंस ब्रॉट डाउन. Closing debit balance comes on credit side. Closing debit balance comes on credit side. Closing credit balance comes on debit side. This is what I have written. And closing balance is indicated by balance carried down. In subsidiary books, only credit transaction relating to goods are recorded. सब्सिडरी बुक्स में सिर्फ हम क्रेडिट ट्रांजेक्शन रिकॉर्ड करते हैं रिलेटिंग टू गुड्स. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ कि कोई असेट खरीदा, कोई स्टेशनरी खरीदा, इसको रिकॉर्ड नहीं करेंगे. कोई कैश ट्रांजेक्शन रिकॉर्ड नहीं करेंगे. दिस इज व्हाट वी हैव रिटन हियर. Which amount will record? Always the net amount will be recorded. That is after deducting trade discount. Cash discount will not be recorded in the subsidiary books because वो cash book take care करता है. Now, in case of trial balance, all expenses and assets will have debit balance. Very thumb rule, golden rule. Expenses और assets का debit balance, income और liability का credit balance. Please make a note of it. Cash book records only cash receipts and cash payments. Cash book क्या record करता है? Cash receipts, cash payments. But डेबिट साइड रिकॉर्ड्स डिस्काउंट अलाउड, क्रेडिट साइड रिकॉर्ड्स डिस्काउंट. तो मैं क्या बोल रहा हूं फ्रेंड्स, कैश बुक की बात करो तो सिर्फ दो चीजें याद रखो. कैश बुक की डेबिट साइड में रिसीट्स, कैश बुक की क्रेडिट साइड में पेमेंट्स. कैश बुक की डेबिट साइड में डिस्काउंट अलाउड रहता है, कैश बुक की क्रेडिट साइड में डिस्काउंट रिसीव रिकॉर्ड करते हैं. कैपिटल एंड रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर. नाउ क्लासिफाई द एक्सपेंडिचर प्रॉपरली एज क्लासिफिकेशन कैरीज 1 मार्क एंड रीजनिंग कैरीज अनदर 1 मार्क. मतलब फ्रेंड्स फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन में कैपिटल रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर के क्वेश्चंस कई बार पूछते हैं. तो क्लासिफिकेशन का 1 मार्क होता है कि ये कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर है कि ये रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर, और उसका अप्रोप्रिएट रीजन लिखने का 1 मार्क रहता है. तो गाइस उसको भूलिए मत, उसका रीजन भी मैंने लिख के दिया हुआ है. स्टेप्स टू आइडेंटिफाई वेदर इट इज अ कैपिटल और रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर. इफ बेनिफिट इज गोइंग टू बी रिसीव्ड विद इन 1 ईयर, अगर बेनिफिट 1 साल के अंदर मिलता है तो इट इज रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर. बट इफ बेनिफिट इज गोइंग टू बी रिसीव्ड फॉर मोर देन 1 ईयर देन इट विल बी अ capital expenditure. So guys, I would like to discuss how to write the reasons. Suppose it is a capital expenditure. So what reasons you will write? It is non-recurring in nature. The benefit will be received for more than 1 year. This is what you are supposed to write. If it is a revenue expenditure, you will write it is a recurring expenditure and the benefit will be received within 1 year itself. Fine. We go for the next topic, subtopic, that is known as rectification of errors. Passing of wrong, reverse and correct entries are very important. सबसे पहले फ्रेंड्स pass the wrong entry, then reverse entry, correct entry, all 3 things. But sequence कैसे है? सबसे पहले क्या करना है? First pass the correct entries, then the wrong entry, and then reversal of wrong entry. So first correct entry, then wrong entry, and then reversal of wrong entry. Finally pass the rectified entry. Next. Now very important, if rectification is done after trial balance, मतलब आप rectification कर रहे हो ट्रायल बैलेंस बनाने के बाद, but before preparation of final accounts. So if rectification is done after trial balance but before preparation of final accounts, then suspense account should be used. So if rectification is done after trial balance but before preparation of final accounts, wherever you have a vacuum space or wherever debit effect not given, credit effect not given, please insert suspense account. If rectification is done after trial balance and after preparation of final accounts, मतलब ट्रायल बैलेंस भी बन गया, फाइनल अकाउंट भी मिल गया, and then you found out some errors, then P&L adjustment account should be used for all nominal accounts. So if trial balance is prepared, final accounts is also prepared, and then you are finding some errors or you are locating some errors, then all nominal accounts will be replaced by P&L adjustment account. Please make a note for the same. We'll go for the next chapter, bank reconciliation statement, that is BRS. Just check first what is given in the question. Means balance as per cash book is given, balance as per passbook is given, overdraft as per cash book is given, overdraft as per passbook is given. दिस इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट फॉर बीआरएस क्वेश्चन. मीन्स आपका स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट क्या है, प्लीज मेक अ नोट, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, प्लीज मेक अ नोट फॉर द सेम. पोस्ट द ट्रांजेक्शन एज पर द इंस्ट्रक्शंस गिवन इन द क्वेश्चन. मीन्स जो हुआ है वो ही रिकॉर्ड कीजिए. दिस इज व्हाट आई हैव टॉट यू स्टूडेंट्स. Post the transactions as per the instruction given in the problem. Just do whatever has been instructed and do not do anything which has not been recorded or not posted. Means if cash book is recorded, go in the cash book and record the same. If passbook is recorded, go in the passbook and record the same. जिसने रिकॉर्ड किया है उसकी बुक में जाके रिकॉर्ड कीजिए, ऑपोजिट पार्टी का मत सोचिए. इफ एनी साइड इज अंडरकास्ट, मतलब समझो कैश बुक क्रेडिट साइड इज अंडरकास्ट, मतलब मींस वी हैव टेकन short total there or we have taken lesser amount there, then we have to write the amount on the opposite side. Means if credit side is undercasted, means which side is written more? Debit side. मतलब हमने credit side कम लिखा है तो हमने कौन सी साइड ज्यादा लिखा है? डेबिट साइड में. तो अमाउंट कहाँ जाके लिखेंगे? ऑपोजिट साइड में, मतलब डेबिट साइड में. इफ एनी साइड इज ओवरकास्ट, एग्जाम्पल कैश बुक डेबिट साइड is overcast, means you have written more amount on the debit side, then do whatever you have done. means आपने डेबिट साइड ज्यादा लिखा है तो डेबिट साइड ही रखिए, then write the amount on the same side. In short, what is the conclusion? If any side is undercasted, write the amount on the opposite side. If any side is overcast, then write the amount on the same side. जो हुआ है वो करो. अंडरकास्ट मतलब हमने एक साइड में कम लिखा है तो कौन सी साइड ज्यादा लिखा है? जो साइड ज्यादा लिखा है वहां जाके लिख रहे हैं. एंड कोई साइड ओवरकास्ट हो गई है तो जो साइड में ओवरकास्टिंग हुआ है वहां ही लिखना है. दैट्स इट फॉर बीआरएस. लेट्स गो फॉर चैप्टर नंबर 4, इन्वेंटरी. अगेन वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक गाइस. Go through stock verification sums properly. That is stock taking before the year ending and stock taking after the year ending. Stock taking before and after the year ending. Stock taking before the year ending means your year ending is 31st March and you have taken stock on 20th March. So between these two dates, that is 20th March to 31st March, all purchases which you have made, you will add because you have to find the stock on 31st March. And all goods which you have sold during this 10 days or 11 days, you will less at cost price because they are not lying with you on 31st of March. Stock taking after the year end means year ending is 31st March and stock taking you have done on 10th of April. Means all transactions between 31st March and 10th April, मतलब इन बीच में आपने जो भी गुड्स परचेज किए वो आपके पास 31st मार्च पे नहीं थे तो परचेजेस लेस हो जाएंगे. और इन 10 दिनों में, दैट इज 31st March to 10th April, all goods which you have sold, they were with you on 31st March, so sales will be added at cost price. I hope this is very clear. One more thing I would like to focus on the stock taking sums. They will always give you physical stock on 20th March or on 10th April. Means या तो stock taking before the year ending or stock taking after the year ending. Always you are supposed to find out book stock. Unless they mention that find out the value of physical stock. मतलब मैं क्या बोलने की ट्राई कर रहा हूँ, फिजिकल स्टॉक दिया होगा और आपको बुक स्टॉक ढूंढना है. वो लोग बोलेंगे फिजिकल स्टॉक दिया और फिजिकल स्टॉक ही ढूंढो तो ही फिजिकल स्टॉक ढूंढना, अदरवाइज ऑलवेज यू आर सपोज टू फाइंड आउट बुक वैल्यू ऑफ स्टॉक. नाउ द नेक्स्ट इंपॉर्टेंट कॉन्सेप्ट इज ट्रीटमेंट ऑफ एबनॉर्मल आइटम्स. ट्रीटमेंट ऑफ एबनॉर्मल आइटम्स. एबनॉर्मल मतलब जो नॉर्मल नहीं है, जो जल गया है, सड़ गया है, उसको हम एबनॉर्मल गुड्स बोलते हैं. तो हम बिजनेसमैन है, हम नॉर्मल गुड्स में हमेशा बिजनेस करते हैं तो वी हैव टू रिमूव ऑल एबनॉर्मल आइटम्स. सो रिमूव ऑल एबनॉर्मल आइटम्स फ्रॉम बोथ द साइड्स ऑफ ट्रेडिंग अकाउंट. रिमूव ऑल एबनॉर्मल आइटम्स फ्रॉम बोथ द साइड्स ऑफ ट्रेडिंग अकाउंट. फ्रॉम द डेबिट साइड रिमूव इट फ्रॉम द फिगर ऑफ ओपनिंग स्टॉक और परचेजेस. डेबिट साइड में से कहां से निकालेंगे? ओपनिंग स्टॉक या परचेजेस. इफ नथिंग इज मेंशन्ड देन रिमूव इट फ्रॉम परचेजेस. क्यों मैंने ऐसा बोला? क्योंकि जब आपने गुड्स खरीदा तो वो तभी तो नॉर्मल था, लेकिन कुछ इंसिडेंट हुआ, कोई इवेंट हुआ, इसके लिए वो गुड्स खराब हो गए और वो आपके पास पड़े हैं तो आप किस में से निकालोगे? परचेज में से निकालोगे, बिकॉज वो गुड्स खरीदे थे फिर वो एबनॉर्मल हो गए. इन शॉर्ट, फ्रॉम द डेबिट साइड रिमूव इट फ्रॉम द फिगर ऑफ ओपनिंग स्टॉक और परचेजेस. फ्रॉम द क्रेडिट साइड रिमूव इट फ्रॉम द फिगर ऑफ सेल्स और क्लोजिंग स्टॉक. सेल्स या क्लोजिंग स्टॉक में से निकाल दीजिए. इफ नथिंग इज मेंशन्ड रिमूव इट फ्रॉम क्लोजिंग स्टॉक. क्यों ऐसा बोल रहा हूं? क्रेडिट साइड में से सेल्स या क्लोजिंग स्टॉक. इफ नथिंग मेंशन फ्रॉम क्लोजिंग स्टॉक, बिकॉज अगर वो सेल हो गया है तो सेल्स में से माइनस करेंगे और अगर वो सेल नहीं हुआ है मतलब वो हमारे पास पड़ा है और हमारे पास पड़ा है वो मेरा क्लोजिंग स्टॉक, इसके लिए उसको क्लोजिंग स्टॉक से माइनस करेंगे. इन शॉर्ट एबनॉर्मल गुड्स को दोनों साइड से निकाल दीजिए. डेबिट साइड में से ओपनिंग स्टॉक या परचेजेस, कुछ नहीं बोला तो परचेजेस. क्रेडिट साइड में से सेल्स या क्लोजिंग स्टॉक, कुछ नहीं बोला तो क्लोजिंग स्टॉक. ये किस में से निकालने का वो बात हो गई. फ्रॉम वेयर वी हैव टू रिमूव, वी हैव डिस्कस दिस. बट व्हाट शुड बी रिमूव, क्या अमाउंट माइनस करना है गाइस, उसको भी आपके लिए रेडीमेड है. व्हाट अमाउंट शुड बी डिडक्टेड. फ्रॉम परचेज यू विल डिडक्ट कॉस्ट प्राइस, फ्रॉम सेल्स you will deduct selling price, and from stock you will deduct value. Now stock means both stocks, opening stock as well as closing stock. Guys, thank you so much for listening to my inventory discussion. Next, let's go for the next topic, that is depreciation and amortization. Again, amortization is a new concept introduced in the CA foundation new syllabus. Let's go with depreciation and amortization. See, all important points are sorted out in depreciation. Let's discuss one by one, guys. प्रॉपरली गो थ्रू ऑल द मेथड्स ऑफ डेप्रिसिएशन. ये तो सर सब बोलते हैं, लेकिन आप सिर्फ एक गो थ्रू कीजिए. इन स्ट्रेट लाइन मेथड, इफ रेट ऑफ डेप्रिसिएशन इज नॉट गिवन, देन फॉलोइंग फॉर्मूला इज टू बी यूज्ड. इन स्ट्रेट लाइन मेथड, इफ द rate of depreciation is not given, then how you will calculate the depreciation? Cost minus scrap divided by useful life. In S&M, depreciation remains constant every year. Depreciation remains constant every year. In WDV, depreciation keeps on diminishing every year. हर साल depreciation keeps on falling. So अगर आप depreciation calculate कर रहे हो और गलती से आपका depreciation increase हो रहा है, तो प्लीज आप अपना कैलकुलेशन चेक कीजिए, बिकॉज डिमिनिशिंग बैलेंस में हमेशा depreciation गिरते रहता है. Concentrate more on machine hour method, unit production method, sum of digits method. Provision for depreciation method. Now here, friends, people are confused. People have lots of confusions. So I have sorted out in a best possible way so that students can score full marks in this PFD method. Now, under this method, depreciation is charged on the original cost of the asset and asset is always shown at cost. एक चीज याद रखना friends. In this method, asset is always shown at cost and depreciation is always charged on cost. तो क्या रखने का याद, कॉस्ट 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 मींस क्या बोल रहा हूं, डेप्रिसिएशन चार्ज करेंगे ओरिजिनल कॉस्ट पे और असेट भी दिखेगा ओरिजिनल कॉस्ट पे. जर्नल एंट्रीज फॉर चार्जिंग डेप्रिसिएशन. गाइस रिमेंबर नॉर्मल एंट्री ऑफ डेप्रिसिएशन. व्हाट इज द नॉर्मल एंट्री फॉर डेप्रिसिएशन? Depreciation account debit to fixed asset. But when you are following provision for depreciation method, the entry little bit changes. Depreciation account debit to provision for depreciation. सर ऐसा क्यों? क्योंकि आपको असेट को कॉस्ट पे दिखाना है. अगर आप असेट को क्रेडिट कर दोगे वो तो WDV पे आ जाएगा. Hence the entry for charging depreciation is depreciation account debit to provision for depreciation. Whenever an asset is sold and PFD method is followed, जब आप असेट बेचते हो और PFD method फॉलो कर रहे हो, total cost of the asset should be credited at cost. टोटल कॉस्ट ऑफ द असेट शुड बी क्रेडिटेड एट कॉस्ट. मतलब मैं आपको एक सिंपल शॉर्टकट बोलता हूं, जब आप पीएफडी मेथड फॉलो करो तो असेट आएगा भी कॉस्ट पे, जाएगा भी कॉस्ट पे. असेट आएगा भी कॉस्ट पे मतलब परचेज भी कॉस्ट प्राइस पे, और सेल होगा तभी भी कॉस्ट से ही क्रेडिट करो. दैट्स व्हाट आई हैव रिटन. टोटल कॉस्ट ऑफ द असेट शुड बी क्रेडिटेड एट कॉस्ट. Correspondingly, PFD should be debited with the total depreciation charge, including the year of sale. In short, जब भी आप असेट बेचोगे, whenever you will sell an asset, asset should be credited at cost and PFD should be debited with the total depreciation you have charged till date, including the year of sale. मतलब आज तक का depreciation including the year of sale you are supposed to debit PFD. Now, so इसमें आप क्या याद रखोगे, asset आएगा भी cost पे, जाएगा भी cost पे. So whenever any asset is sold, PFD account should be debited. PFD account should be debited with the total depreciation charge including the year of sale and the asset should be credited at cost price. Depreciation on asset sold should be charged separately and the entry should also be passed. जो asset बेचा है उसका separate working करना है कि ये asset बेचा है और उसका ये depreciation है. Entry for sale of asset. Now guys, behave normally. Whenever you sell any asset, what comes in? Cash. So bank account debit, what goes out? Asset. So bank account debit to asset. PFD should be debited with the total depreciation charge including the year of sale, and if there is a loss, loss account debit. If there is a profit, profit should be credited. Now what I have written here, I'll highlight with another pen, machinery disposal. So I'd like to discuss one more thing. Whenever you are following PFD method, asset comes at cost, asset goes at cost. Asset आएगा भी cost पे, जाएगा भी cost पे. एंट्री फॉर सेल, आप असेट सेल करोगे उसकी क्या एंट्री पास करोगे गाइस? बैंक अकाउंट डेबिट टू असेट. जितना डेप्रिसिएशन चार्ज किया उसके लिए पीएफडी अकाउंट डेबिट, एंड इफ देयर इज अ लॉस, लॉस डेबिट करने का, एंड इफ देयर इज अ प्रॉफिट, प्रॉफिट शुड बी क्रेडिटेड. नाउ इंस्टेड ऑफ क्रेडिटिंग असेट, इफ दे आस्क यू प्रिपेयर मशीनरी डिस्पोजल अकाउंट या असेट डिस्पोजल अकाउंट, गाइस डोंट वरी एट ऑल. What is the normal entry you pass for sale of asset? Bank to asset. Instead of saying bank to asset, you will say bank to asset disposal. Rest all things remain the same. PFD should be debited with the total depreciation charge, and if there is a loss, debit with the loss amount, and if there is a profit, credit the profit account. Whenever disposal account is asked, following entry should be passed. जब भी आपको असेट डिस्पोजल अकाउंट पूछेंगे तो आप एक एडिशनल एंट्री पास करोगे. क्या एडिशनल एंट्री? असेट डिस्पोजल टू असेट. मतलब गाइस मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ, whenever you sell any asset and PFD method you are following and they are requesting you to prepare asset disposal account, then you will pass normal entry bank account debit to asset disposal with PFD to be debited with the total depreciation charge, and if there is a loss, P&L debit, if there is a profit, P&L credit, and one more entry you are supposed to pass, asset disposal to asset. If you want, I can write on the screen. See what I am trying to say. Bank account debit to asset disposal, and then asset disposal to asset. So whenever you are preparing asset disposal account, over and above passing the sale entry, you are supposed to pass this entry which I am writing on the screen, asset disposal to asset. Ultimately, effect is the same, bank to asset. When PFD method is followed and when asset is sold, total depreciation on the asset sold till date should be reversed, which is already we have done here, PFD account debit to asset. Now, the most important part of depreciation. Kindly revise the sums in which balance of machinery needs to be calculated. मतलब आपने एक मशीन खरीदा 2019 में and they purposely ask you to prepare machinery account for the year 2023. So obviously आपके पास 2023 में fresh machinery नहीं है, यूज किया हुआ मशीनरी है. तो 19, 20, 21, 22 इन 4 साल के डेप्रिसिएशन आपको माइनस करके WDV पे आना है. So that is machinery is purchased in the past and they have asked to prepare ledger account of the current year. So basically you have purchased machinery in the past but you are supposed to prepare ledger account of the current year. Then you are supposed to calculate the balance and then proceed with the sum. Let's continue guys with chapter number 6, bills of action, promissory notes. Bills of action. Go through accommodation of bill part properly and allocation of discounting charges to be borne by drawer and drawee. Now, first of all, I like to request you that go through the entries thoroughly and then go to accommodation of bill. Now, when it comes to calculation of discount or proportionate discount, I prepared one small formula that who will bear how much discounting charges. The amount which is received plus the amount which is payable, that is received plus payable, divided by total amount of the second bill after discount, divided by the total amount of the second bill after discount into total discount of the second bill. Means whatever amount has been received plus whatever is payable divided by total amount of the second bill after discount into total discount of the second bill. That's what I would like to discuss in bills of exchange. Next, we'll go for chapter number 7, that is preparation of final account of sole proprietor. In that, final accounts of non-manufacturing entities, matlab sole proprietor. Just remember important things. Trial balance will have one effect, adjustments will have two effects. Revise all adjustments properly. Adjustments, please focus properly. Reverse calculation or missing figure problems can be asked. Missing figures questions जो आपके मॉड्यूल के प्रैक्टिकल क्वेश्चंस में है. In trial balance, whenever input GST and output GST are given, then we have to set off it. And if it is receivable, then it will be asset. And if it is payable, then it will be liability. So input is equal to receivable, output is equal to payable. So if input and output both are given, जिसका अमाउंट बड़ा है उसके साथ सेट ऑफ कीजिए. एंड फाइनल अमाउंट, इफ इट इज इनपुट देन इट इज रिसीवेबल, देन इट इज असेट. इफ इट इज आउटपुट देन इट इज पेएबल, देन इट इज लायबिलिटी. फाइनल अकाउंट्स कैन बी आस्क्ड अलोंग विद कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ रेक्टिफिकेशन ऑफ एरर्स. मतलब रेक्टिफिकेशन ऑफ एरर्स पूछ सकते हैं अलोंग विद फाइनल अकाउंट्स. सो प्लीज मेक अ नोट ऑफ द सेम. नाउ फाइनल अकाउंट्स ऑफ मैन्युफैक्चरिंग एंटिटीज. Manufacturing account has to be prepared and all trading items will be transferred to manufacturing account. So in short, manufacturing accounts में आपको याद रखना क्या है. आप फाइनल अकाउंट्स ऑफ होल ट्रेडर में क्या याद रखते हो? ट्रेडिंग अकाउंट, प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट एंड बैलेंस शीट. सो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग अकाउंट्स में व्हाट यू रिमेंबर? मैन्युफैक्चरिंग अकाउंट, ट्रेडिंग अकाउंट, प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट एंड बैलेंस शीट. सो वॉट एवर यूज टू कम इन ट्रेडिंग अकाउंट विल गो टू मैन्युफैक्चरिंग अकाउंट. जो ट्रेडिंग में आएगा वो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में आएगा. मैन्युफैक्चरिंग अकाउंट बैलेंस विल बी ट्रांसफर्ड टू कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन एंड कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन विल बी ट्रांसफर्ड टू ट्रेडिंग अकाउंट. Reverse calculation or missing figure problems can be asked. Now, let's move to next chapter, that is chapter number 8, not for profit organization. Guys, I have already attached a PDF for the same, which is very self-explanatory. So I'm not going through further details of NPO. you can easily get the PDF and make yourself comfortable. One more announcement or one more thing I would like to say, the entire video will be available on YouTube. Guys, PDFs will be available. If any difficulties, feel free to contact or feel free to ask. So for NPO, the entire PDF is available for revision. Now, the new syllabus, again, accounting for incomplete records. Now, there are two types of questions on the topic. Calculation of profit by maintaining books under single entry system, means simple sums where data will be given in rough format and you are supposed to calculate profit by using single entry system of accounting. मीन्स FYJC जैसे प्रॉब्लम्स जिसमें हम लोग क्या बनाते थे, कैलकुलेशन ऑफ प्रॉफिट बाय कन्वर्टिंग बुक्स फ्रॉम सिंगल एंट्री टू डबल एंट्री. सो बेसिकली क्या बनाते थे, उसके पहले दो टाइप के प्रॉब्लम्स है. कैलकुलेशन ऑफ प्रॉफिट व्हेन द बुक्स आर मेंटेन्ड इन सिंगल एंट्री सिस्टम एंड कैलकुलेशन ऑफ प्रॉफिट व्हेन you are supposed to convert your books of accounts from single entry to double entry. Now, under the first method, we just need to calculate opening capital, closing capital, and statement of profit and loss to find out the profit or loss. So, in first method, just calculate opening capital, closing capital, and statement of profit or loss. अब opening capital कब बनाएंगे? जब opening capital कब calculate करेंगे? जब opening balance sheet नहीं दी होगी. Closing capital कब calculate करेंगे? जब closing balance sheet नहीं दी होगी. And statement of profit and loss कब prepare करेंगे? When we are supposed to calculate the profit or loss. I repeat, opening balance sheet will be prepared when opening capital is not given. Closing balance sheet will be prepared when closing capital is not given. And statement of profit and loss we are supposed to prepare because we need to find out the profit or loss. Under the second method, we need to prepare final accounts, that is trading account, profit and loss account, and balance sheet. And the most important, necessary ledger accounts to find out the missing information. Concentrate on the ledger account which are to be opened. Focus on all the ledger accounts which need to be opened. Go through the procedure of opening ledger accounts which is attached as PDF. Again, for which accounts to be opened, what will be the balance figure, you have a PDF available. You can easily go through the PDF. Steps to solve the problem. Now, the most important part of single entry. How to solve the problem, how to start with the problem, and how to close. First step. Classify opening balance sheet. Now, opening balance sheet will have one effect. Cash bank account, step number 2, will have one effect, and adjustments will have minimum 2 effects. So first step will be opening balance sheet, second step will be cash account, and third step will be adjustments. If capital is not given, then opening balance sheet will have 2 effects. So if capital is not given, then opening balance sheet will also have two effects because we are supposed to find out the capital. One in the balance sheet and other in the respective account. So mind it very well guys. Normally opening balance sheet की एक effect, पर अगर capital नहीं दिया है तो opening balance sheet will also have two effects. One in the opening balance sheet and other effect will be in the respective account. Respective account मतलब क्या? Trading account, debtors account, bill receivable account, creditors account, bills payable account, cash account, or either of the case. Similarly, if information is missing in cash or bank account, means cash bank account दिया है लेकिन उसमें कुछ information missing है, then cash bank account will also have two effects. One in the cash account and other in the respective account. So how to summarize this? How to solve the problem? First step, classify opening balance sheet which will have one effect. Second step, cash and bank account which will have one effect, and adjustments which will have two effects. But if opening capital or capital is not given, then opening balance sheet will have two effects. One in the opening balance sheet and one in the respective account. Similarly, cash bank account is given but some information is missing in the cash account, then cash bank account also will have two effects. One in the cash account and other in the respective account. That's it for single entry guys. The PDF will be available. You can go through the closing procedure. Now, the most important, the giant chapter, chapter 10, partnership and LLP account. Now, this is the new thing which we have introduced, LLP, limited liability partnership accounts. Guys, one thing I would like to say, this is minimum 20 marks or 15 to 20 marks you can expect from this topic. Now, we have several units. First unit is introduction to partnership. Here only adjustments relating to partners will be given, or relating to partners the adjustments are covered in this unit. Go through interest on capital, interest on drawing, adjustments properly. Minimum share of profit problems should be done properly. Whenever salary, commission, interest on capital is given to partner, following entries pass. आप salary दो, interest दो, commission दो partner को, the following entry needs to be passed. P&L appropriation account debit to partner's capital. Whenever interest on drawings is charged to partner, interest on drawings is charged to partner, following entry needs to be passed. Reverse the entry, partner's capital account debit to P&L appropriation. The most important note I have written here, interest on drawings will be charged for 6 months. Always in the absence of information you have to charge interest for 6 months. Now second unit is goodwill treatment. Very important. Revise all methods of goodwill properly. That is average profit method, super profit method, annuity method, calculation of profit method, and all such things. All adjustments relating to income and expenses should be revised properly. Prior period items or prior period errors needs to be solved and adjusted to past profits. Means if there are any errors of the previous years or the past years, you need to adjust the same from the past profits. Future expenses and income will be adjusted from average profits. Past errors should be adjusted from average profits, and future expenses and income should be adjusted from average profits. The third unit, admission, retirement, and death of partner. I have combined all three units, that is 3, 4, and 5. Now, revaluation of assets and liabilities should be done properly. Goodwill adjustment should be done properly. Goodwill brought in cash and raised should not be separately passed. चाहे आप goodwill cash में लाओ या goodwill raise करो, only one entry you are supposed to pass, that is partner to partner, gaining to sacrificing. Capital adjustments need to be focused properly. Normally, incoming partner's capital should be taken as the base. Normally, incoming partner's capital should be taken as the base for calculating the total capital of the new firm. Incoming partner को ही base लेना होता है अगर कुछ question बोलता नहीं है तो, for calculating the total capital. Now, the most important is hidden goodwill. Now, what is hidden goodwill? जब भी क्वेश्चन साइलेंट होगा कि गुडविल के बारे में कुछ नहीं बोल रहा होगा तो वी आर सपोज टू फाइंड आउट गुडविल विच इज जस्ट लाइक एन हिडन एडजस्टमेंट. So how to calculate hidden goodwill? I have just given the 2 steps. Just write total capital of the new firm including new partner in the new PSR. So total capital of the new firm including the new partner in the new PSR. Less total capital of the old firm including new partner. दोनों स्टेप सेम दिख रहे हैं लेकिन एक वर्ड का डिफरेंस है. Total capital of the new firm including the new partner in the new PSR. Less total capital of the old firm. So what is the difference, guys? New firm, old firm. And here it is new PSR. So what are the steps? Total capital of the new firm including the new partner in the new PSR. Less total capital of the old firm including the new partner. The difference which you get is hidden goodwill. I hope it is very, very clear, guys. So guys, now if incoming partners ratio is given in the fraction, if incoming partners ratio is given in the fraction, that is 1/5, then old ratio is equal to sacrifice ratio. मतलब इनकमिंग पार्टनर का शेयर फ्रैक्शन में दिया गया तो ओल्ड रेशियो जो होगा वही सैक्रिफाइस रेशियो होगा. सैक्रिफाइस रेशियो इज इक्वल टू ओल्ड रेशियो माइनस न्यू रेशियो एंड गेन रेशियो इज इक्वल टू न्यू रेशियो माइनस ओल्ड रेशियो. सो वी आर रिवाइजिंग एडमिशन, रिटायरमेंट एंड डेट टुगेदर. Retiring partners difference will be transferred to his loan account. Deceased partners difference will be transferred to his executor loan account. Now you are supposed to do this in the absence of any specific information given in the problem. Now let's go for the new part of the partnership account, dissolution of firm, which you have studied in your SYJC exams. Study the journal entries thoroughly. In the question, if balance sheet of the firm is given, it will have one effect. So basically here balance sheet will be given and adjustments. Balance sheet will have one effect, adjustments will have 2 effects. Adjustments will have minimum 2 effects. All assets and liabilities will be transferred to realization account at book values. Remember this very well. All assets and liabilities will be transferred at book value. All assets and liabilities will be realized, paid, taken over at agreed value. So assets liabilities को ट्रांसफर करो बुक वैल्यू पे, asset liabilities को सेल करो, पे करो at agreed value, and if agreed value is not given then record at book value. After solving all adjustments, if any liability is not paid, means सारे adjustments करने के बाद अपने आप को एक सवाल पूछना. Ask yourself one question, whether all liabilities are paid or not, and if any of the liabilities is not paid, then you are supposed to pay off that liability at book value. Partners loan account needs to be opened separately. Guys, partners loan account separately open करना, direct transfer मत करना partner account में या realization में. Partners loan account एक separate liability है, उसको separately disclose करना चाहिए. Now the most important part, focus on insolvency questions. Insolvency should be solved by following Garner versus Murray. This was a case which was finalized, Garner versus Murray. अब ये क्या बोलता है? Let's see steps to solve insolvency. Step number 1, the realization loss should be brought in as cash by the solvent partners. जो भी realization account में loss आएगा, that will be brought in as cash by the solvent partners. Step number 2, the deficiency should be borne by solvent partners in the adjusted capital ratio. First step, realization loss should be brought in as cash by the solvent partners. Second step, the deficiency should be borne by the solvent partners in the adjusted capital ratio. And adjusted capital means what? Opening balance plus reserves minus miscellaneous expense, that is losses. Now, the deficiency should be borne by solvent partners. Now, important note for the same. The insolvency should be borne by only those solvent partners who are having opening credit balance. मतलब ये deficiency solvent partners तो bear करेंगे, but with solvent partners only those solvent partners who are having opening credit balance. If fixed capital method is followed, then while calculating adjusted capital ratio, only opening balance of capital will be considered. If fluctuating capital method is followed, then adjusted capital ratio will be calculated as follows. Adjusted capital ratio is equal to opening balance plus reserves minus miscellaneous expenses. So guys, यहाँ पे ध्यान रखिए कि adjusted capital ratio के definitions अलग अलग है. जब आप fixed capital method follow कर रहे हैं तो only the opening balance of capital needs to be considered for calculating the adjusted capital ratio. But while you are doing with fluctuating capital method, means you are opening capital as well as current account, then adjusted capital ratio is equal to opening balance plus free reserves minus miscellaneous expenses. When partner's loan is given in the problem and if respective partner is having debit balance, मतलब partner का loan है और partner is having a debit balance, then it is advisable to transfer partner's loan to partner's capital. The entry will be partner's loan account debit to partner's capital. मतलब partner ने firm को loan दिया है और partner का debit balance दिख रहा है. तो what is advisable to be done? Partner's loan should be transferred to partner's capital. So in this way, the partner's debit balance gets reduced. Now the next part of dissolution, that is piecemeal distribution of cash. In this topic, we have to strictly follow cash system of funds. Strictly मतलब very strictly. खाली cash आया और cash गया उसकी बात करना. This means no credit transaction should be considered. There are two methods of piecemeal distribution of cash. Excess capital method, second name. Surplus capital method, third name. Proportionate capital method, fourth name. Highest relative capital method. Maximum loss method, as safety as possible method. दो मेथड्स है, एक मेथड के चार नाम है, दूसरी मेथड के दो नाम है. Now, in excess capital method, two statements are to be prepared. One is statement of excess capital, one is statement of piecemeal distribution of cash. Now, the most important, there is an order of payment which needs to be followed. Simple thing है, इस चैप्टर में स्ट्रिक्टली कैश बेसिस फॉलो कीजिए और ऑर्डर ऑफ पेमेंट प्री डिफाइंड है, मतलब पहले आप फिर आप फिर आप फिर आप, मतलब simple as that. First you need to pay the outsiders and then you need to pay the insiders. So basically first is outsiders. In outsiders there is a sequence. Realization expense, then comes government dues or statutory dues, means all taxation related liabilities, then secured loans and then unsecured loans. Note, if under one head more than one liability is there, matlab what I am trying to say, suppose if under unsecured loan there are more than one liabilities, then we have to pay both the liabilities simultaneously in the liability ratio. Example आपके लिए दिया हुआ है, under unsecured loan if creditors and bills payable are given, that is 10,000 and 5,000. First of all, both are unsecured, so we have to pay both of them together in the liability ratio, that is 2:1. मतलब एक ही हेड के अंदर एक से ज्यादा लायबिलिटी, तो प्लीज पे बोथ टुगेदर इन द लायबिलिटी रेशियो. व्हाट आई इनिशियली टोल्ड, यू हैव टू पे one liability at one point of time, but if under one head more than one liability comes, then we have to pay both of them together in the liability ratio. Then comes the insiders. At one given point of time only one liability needs to be paid. That's what I have repeated again and again. Then we have to follow the order of payment which has been calculated through statement of excess capital. So first outsiders, then insiders, and when you start making payment to insiders का मतलब partners capital. So जब आप excess capital method follow कर रहे हो तो excess capital आपको एक order देगा कि पहला A partner, फिर दूसरा partner, फिर तीसरा partner, उसी order में आपको payments करने हैं. Now I'll go for the next method. Under maximum loss method, same order of payment has to be followed. Same order of payment मतलब guys ये वाला, पहले outsiders का और फिर insiders का. When partners capital needs to be paid, then we have to prepare working notes. So in maximum loss method, instead of preparing statement of excess capital, we need to prepare separate working notes stating that it is the last realization of assets and maximum loss needs to be calculated. तो in case of maximum loss method guys, आप लोग जैसे पार्टनर्स का पेमेंट शुरू करोगे तो वर्किंग नोट्स बनाओगे और आप ऐसा अज्यूम करोगे कि जो पैसा है वो लास्ट पैसा है, अज्यूमिंग दिस रियलाइजेशन इज द लास्ट रियलाइजेशन एंड वी नीड टू फाइंड आउट मैक्सिमम लॉस एट एवरी गिवन पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम. The maximum loss needs to be distributed among the partners in the profit sharing ratio. जो भी लॉस आएगा वो पार्टनर्स के बीच में बटेगा इन द PSR. After distributing the losses बांटने के बाद, if any partner's capital becomes negative, then his deficiency needs to be borne by the remaining solvent partners in the adjusted capital ratio. Adjusted capital ratio. Adjusted capital ratio is equal to opening balance plus reserves minus losses. That's it for the partnership accounts part. We'll start with company accounts. Guys, let's start with company accounts. Chapter number 11, the most important topic again for CA Foundation accounts. Again, you can expect 15 to 20 marks paper from this chapter. Fine. Company accounts, I have written PDF available. PDF available, guys. I'll just run through the PDF. See, this is the PDF which I have prepared for you. You can easily go through the PDF. Types of capital, issue of shares, all journal entries you have. Everything. Issue of shares at premium, discount, under subscription, over subscription, calls in arrears, calls in advance entries, calls in arrears, table number F, interest rates are given, everything, journal entries for calls in arrears, issue of shares for consideration other than cash, then issue of shares to promoters, the main important part of the chapter, forfeiture and reissue of shares, everything given here, forfeiture, reissue, transfer to capital reserve, everything. Then comes issue of debentures, types of debentures, issue of debentures at par, premium, discount, then the journal entries for debentures. The most important entries I would like to say, entry number 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Please focus on this PDF properly. Then oversubscription of debentures, debentures issued for consideration other than cash, debentures issued at par, premium, discount, whatever, all these situations. And then comes the entries for debenture interest. Again, a probability that this type of question might be asked. Then debentures issued as collateral security, and that's it. So this I've discussed regarding issue of debentures. I'm going back to the strategy. So PDF is available for issue of shares and issue of debentures. But before going for accounting for bonus issue and right issue, I like to discuss one more important thing regarding issue of shares. I like to concentrate on one important topic, that is forfeiture of shares, reissue of shares. Just remember, guys, one important thing. Share capital will be debited or credited. Share capital will be debited or credited with face value or called up, whichever is less. With face value or called up, whichever is less. मतलब कई बार शेयर कैपिटल फेस वैल्यू से डेबिट हो सकता है, कई बार कॉल्ड अप से डेबिट हो सकता है या क्रेडिट हो सकता है. Depends on the information given in the problem. Now, we'll go for the new syllabus, accounting for bonus issue and right issue. Bonus are issued only to the existing fully paid up equity shareholders. Fully paid up shareholders होने चाहिए और existing shareholders होने चाहिए. Bonus can be issued to the partly paid up equity shareholders in two ways. Now, bonus can be issued to the existing fully paid up shareholders, as well as bonus can be issued to the partly paid up equity shareholders also. But there are two ways of issuing bonus. Number one, by making a call and receiving call money, call due, call receive, by converting the partly paid up shares into fully paid up and declaring the same as bonus. मतलब call करने का और पैसा मांगने का नहीं, considering the same as bonus declared and bonus issued. Means make a call, receive a call is the first way. Second is make a call, don't receive call money, tell the shareholders that consider this as bonus from the company's side. Sequence. Guys, आपने मेरा रील देखा होगा, आपने मेरा वीडियो देखा होगा. सीक्वेंस. तो बोनस की सीक्वेंस क्या थी? CSCD. C for CRR, S for securities premium, C for capital reserve, which is realized in cash, and divisible profits. The reserves should be utilized in the order which I have written in the notes in the strategy, because it is mentioned by the Companies Act 2013. Reserves should be used only in this order. Guys, clear? Let's go ahead. Refer table 2 for journal entries. Table 2 for journal entries means all entries regarding bonus are there in the table number 2. I'll show you table number 2 also. This is table number 2. See this, guys. You can see final call money due, final call money received for declaring bonus, bonus issue, conversion of partly paid shares into fully paid by way of bonus. That's it. Now let's go back to the next important topic, redemption of preference shares. Redemption can be done out of two sources. Redemption दो sources में से हो सकते हैं, by making fresh issue of shares, that is equity, and out of free reserves. या तो by issuing fresh equity shares or out of free reserves. Redemption can be done in two ways, at par, at premium. At par, at premium. Note, only fully paid up preferences can be redeemed. This means if there are any partly paid up preferences, then we have to make a call and receive a call. Please make a note of the same. Partly paid up preferences को redeem नहीं कर सकते. We have to make a call and receive a call, and then only we can go for the process of redemption. If a company issues debentures, the proceeds received cannot be utilized to redeem the preferences. मतलब कंपनी अगर डिबेंचर इशू करती है तो जो पैसा आएगा ना, वो पैसा हम यूज नहीं कर सकते प्रेफरेंशियल होल्डर्स को रिडीम करने के लिए. Guys, you know one important thing, redemption can be done in two ways. At par, at premium. मैंने आपको एक इक्वेशन सिखाया था. If you remember the equation, I'll remember means I'll note this equation on the screen. If redemption is done at par, you will prepare only one equation. That is nominal value is equal to fresh issue plus free reserves. Fresh issue plus free reserve. But if redemption is done at premium, you will prepare two equations. First is nominal value is equal to fresh issue plus free reserves, and second equation is premium on redemption, POR, is equal to free reserves. You will fill the left hand side of the equations first. You will fill the second equation first. Then you will go for the first equation, and you will check the information given in the problem that redemption is done out of free reserves or out of fresh issue. If they mention that fresh issue of shares is done of so and so shares of so and so each, then first fill fresh issue figure and balancing figure will be free reserves. But if they mention that free reserves are to be utilized to the maximum extent, then first utilize free reserves and then the balancing figure will be fresh issue. Guys, but one more thing I would like to add in this, whatever free reserves you utilize to redeem the face value of preferences, जो भी free reserves आप utilize करते हो to redeem the face value of preferences, they should be transferred to CRR. They should be transferred to CRR. Now, list of free reserves I have already given: general reserve, profit and loss, reserve fund, and dividend equalization reserve. Note, very important, any reserve other than the above are non-free reserves. इसको छोड़ के कोई भी रिजर्व आया तो नॉन फ्री, भूल जाओ, खाली इसको याद रखो. जनरल रिजर्व, प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट, रिजर्व फंड एंड डिविडेंड इक्विलाइजेशन. बट इफ एनी रिजर्व अपीयर्स विद द वर्ड, पर इसके अलावा इट मींस anything over and above these reserves, if any reserve comes with these words expired, realized in cash, utilized to the extent not required, अगर ये कोई भी वर्ड कोई दूसरे रिजर्व के बाजू में आता है, then it will become a free reserve and it can be utilized to redeem the preference shares. So any reserve other than the four mentioned above, if they come with the word utilized, expired, realized in cash to the extent not required, then such reserves will become a free reserve. Guys, please make a note of the same. Now, securities premium, refer table 1. Refer table 1. I'll go for table 1. Now, see, this is table 1 prepared for you guys. When securities premium needs to be utilized. Securities premium. Issue, it can be, this is basically utilities of securities premium or uses of securities premium. Short note भी आ सकता है. They can ask you a short note on uses of securities premium. Very important, guys. That's why I prepared in a tree diagram format. You can frame the sentence and you can write, you can get almost full marks. Securities premium can be utilized for issuing bonus shares, that is listed company and collected in cash होना चाहिए. For writing of discount on issue or commission on issue of shares, for writing of the preliminary expenses, for writing of premium on redemption. So these are, so writing of premium on redemption. Basically, securities premium is not a free reserve for writing of premium on redemption of preferences. But securities premium कब use कर सकते, कब use नहीं कर सकते, वो उसका note दिया है. It is not allowed if the company is covered under section 133. That is company complying with accounting standards. Means securities premium cannot be utilized to write off premium on redemption. When it is not allowed? If the company is covered under section 133. और 133 क्या बोलता है? Section, the companies which are following accounting standards. Note, if no information is given, we will have to assume that the company is covered under section 133. In short, securities premium use नहीं कर सकते to redeem preference shares. Now, going back to the strategy, just properly check the instructions of the questions regarding what has to be used. That is, मैंने आपसे बात की fresh issue or free reserves. Means if the question mentions use free reserves and then balancing figure as fresh issue, then first reserves should be utilized and then fresh issue. And if question mentions so and so shares are issued as fresh issue, then first fresh issue of shares and then balancing figure free reserves. only the face value of the preferences redeemed should be transferred to CRR. This is what I've discussed here, guys. Here, only the face value of the preferences redeemed, only the face value of the preferences redeemed out of free reserve should be transferred to CRR. Next, concentrate on sums where minimum bank balance has to be maintained. बहुत important question कई बार बोलेगा minimum bank balance to be maintained so and fresh issue has to be made. Means they will focus on two conditions. You are supposed to maintain minimum bank balance of so and they will tell you that fresh issue is also to be done. In such situations, means two conditions together, means they are expecting us to calculate the fresh issue and at the same time you are supposed to maintain minimum bank balance. In such situations, एक simple rule कर दो. Prepare bank account and record all transactions and find out the amount of fresh issue. The simplest way to calculate the amount of fresh issue. Now, if there are two types of preferences in the balance sheet, that is fully paid and another is partly paid, then and if the question is silent, then only the fully paid up preferences should be redeemed, and only the fully paid up preferences should be redeemed. In certain problems, when the company wants to redeem the preferences, and if the question mentions that some shareholders are not available, कई बार ऐसा क्वेश्चन आता है कि 10,000 preferences of 10 each, the company will make due redemption due for all 10,000 shares. But when the company wants to make the payment, certain shareholders are not available or are not traceable. Then in such cases, only the balance preference shareholders need to be paid. Guys, please make a note of this. This is very important. Sometimes they can twist on this point. So suppose example, 10,000 preferences of 10 each. So company will make redemption due for all 10,000 shares. But if the question gives further information that while making the payment, 100 preference shareholders were not traceable, so company will make the payment only to 9,900 preference shareholders. I hope it is clear. There are high chances of redemption of preferences and bonus issue being asked together. Please make a note of the same, because redemption of preferences, after doing the redemption, they can join a bonus issue question together so that both concepts are covered. Let's go for the next topic. Let's continue with redemption of debentures. Again, the new part of the syllabus. Refer PDF. I have prepared PDF for you guys. Now, the most important part I will discuss with you. The company should transfer at least 10% of the face value of the debentures to be redeemed to DRR. At least 10% of the face values of the debentures to be redeemed should be transferred to DRR. I repeat, at least 10% of the face value of the debentures to be redeemed should be transferred to DRR. The company should invest at least 15% of the face value of the debentures to be redeemed in debenture redemption reserve investment. Two things you have to know. How much should be there in DRR? 10% of the face value of the debentures to be redeemed should be there in DRR. How much should be the investments which the company should give? 15% of the face value of the debentures to be redeemed. So, agar 10% DRR maintained hai, so don't do anything, and 15% investments are maintained, don't do anything. But anything less than that, or the debenture redemption reserve or the debenture redemption reserve investments are not done, please do the needful, that is 10% and 15% respectively. Now, note, only unlisted companies are supposed to create at least 10% DRR and 15% DRRI. Only unlisted companies are supposed to create 10% DRR and debenture redemption reserve investment. All listed companies except AIFI and FII are supposed to invest in DRR investment for the portion of the debentures which is not converted. Very important, guys. Unlisted companies को तो करना ही है, but in case of listed companies, except who people? AIFI, FII. So excluding AIFI and FII, all listed companies are supposed to invest in debenture redemption reserve investment for the portion of the debentures which is not converted. Means जो debentures conversion option नहीं ले रहे, वो सारी लिस्टेड कंपनीज AIFI और FII को छोड़ के सारी लिस्टेड कंपनीज को डिबेंचर रिडेम्पशन रिजर्व इन्वेस्टमेंट क्रिएट करना है फॉर द पोर्शन ऑफ द डिबेंचर्स व्हिच इज नॉट कन्वर्टेड. एंड नो DRR is required for listed companies AI, FII, HFC and NBFC. So listed companies AI, FII, HFC and NBFC उनको तो DRR create करना ही नहीं है. Now I'll just revise the steps with you. Transfer to DRR, invest, interest, transfer, interest, invest. Sorry, transfer, invest, interest, transfer, invest, interest, transfer, invest, interest. Then transfer of interest. Interest is income, transfer to P&L. And then entries for redemption. In the year of redemption, sale, redemption due, POR write-off, pay off the debenture holders, and transfer the DRR to general reserve. So I'll repeat the steps again. Transfer, invest, interest. Transfer, invest, interest. Then transfer of interest to P&L. In the year of redemption, sale of investment, redemption due, POR write-off, pay off the debenture holders, and last and but not the least, transfer DRR to general reserve. Let's go back to the strategy. This is the PDF which I had prepared for you guys. Now let's go to the strategy. Now this is all we have done, and the most important point for you guys, that is time management during your examination. That is when you are in the hot seat in the examination hall. That is the grand finale, 20th June, 1:45 to 2 p.m. The 15 minutes before your paper starts, reading and positioning time. Read the questions properly. I've guys told you to solve first question of company accounts, the second question basically of final accounts or NPO, and then you go for inventory, recti, depri, BRS, whatever you feel comfortable. Out of four, maybe two or three will be asked. So first 15 minutes reading and positioning time means पहले 15 मिनट में आप कंपनी अकाउंट्स का क्वेश्चन देख लो, बी मेंटली प्रिपेयर्ड that how many entries you need to pass, which entries they've asked, what is the procedure, how much time you'll allocate, and all such stuffs. The countdown begins 2 to 3:30 p.m. Attempt average 50 to 60 marks paper covering the questions which you know comfortably or which you know confidently, and must include the following topics: company accounts, that is issue of shares, issue of debentures, bonus issue and right issue, redemption of preferences, redemption of debentures, NPO final accounts. सर आपने पूरा पोर्शन ही दे दिया है, मानता हूँ, लेकिन ये सब नहीं आएंगे कंपनी अकाउंट में से, 2 या 3 क्वेश्चन आने के चांसेस है, एंड आइदर आउट ऑफ फाइनल अकाउंट्स और एनपीओ, एनी वन ऑफ द अबव. Confirm questions. Company accounts will get average 15 to 20 marks. Final accounts or NPO 10 to 12 marks. And accounting for incomplete record, that is single entry, that is 10 to 15 marks you can expect in this examination. Now first half is over, 2 to 3:30 p.m. 3:30 to 4:30, the next 1 hour, very crucial 1 hour. Partnership accounts, which carries 15 to 20 marks compulsory question, and which I told you, BRS, rectification of errors, inventory depreciation question, which can be 15 to 20 marks, all four together. Means the grand total of all such four questions will be 15 to 20 marks. 4:30 to 4:50, 20 minutes. The last 30 minutes, out of that, the 20 minutes. Question number 1, which is will be consisting of true or false with reason. Basically, capital revenue expenditure you can find here. 4:50 to 5 p.m. Let's hope that you get this rechecking time, and let's hope that you do the best things in your paper. Now, as I told you, first question you go for company accounts. Second, you go for final accounts or NPO, right? Next, if single entry is asked, go for single entry. Next, go for inventory, recti, depri, BRS, either of these, any 2 or 3 questions, and then go for partnership accounts. Guys, management of time is the most crucial thing in the CA Foundation accounts paper. And last thing guys, points to be remembered. Do not waste unnecessary time on one question. रुकना मत, अगर अटक जाते हो तो आगे चले जाना उतना जगह छोड़ के. Underline the header and important points or words in the internal point. Means whatever balancing figures, please circle it. Totaling lines, double lines, everything guys. Write books of trading account, profit and loss account for the ended what, debit, credit, every important thing. Please, most important, write correct question numbers. People don't write question numbers and they lose full marks in some questions. First thing is write the question numbers. Start every new question and सब question on a new page. मुझे पता है ये पॉइंट देख के आप लोग हंसोगे वीडियो देखते देखते, मैं हमेशा डांटता हूँ आपको. Start new question on new page and even a sub question on new page. Guys, we have paid fees to the institute for writing the examinations. Don't try to save pages. Make your paper presentable and write it properly. That's it from my side guys. All the best and hope you will do the best and you will get good marks. Thank you guys.